November 2nd, we're going to be asking the citizens to consider and hopefully support Issue 30, which is a 5.27 mil replacement levy. This levy replaces the current 4.34 mil levy that expires at the end of this year. It goes away. This issue is crucial to the community. The levy represents approximately 40% of our operating funds, and without the successful passage of this levy, it's going to be very difficult for us to provide effective fire and paramedic services to our citizens. This 5.27 mil levy will cost the homeowner of a $100,000 home an additional $52.93 per year, or $26.74 per 6 months. This levy increase represents only the second time in the last 20 years that we've had to ask for any kind of an increase. In 1988, we passed a levy partially to introduce paramedic services into the community. That levy was calculated to last 5 years. We were able to make that levy stretch until 2000, over 12 years before we had to come back to the citizens and ask for another increase. That's the last increase that we've asked the citizens to support. That was 10 years ago, and we're hoping that they'll consider our request this year. Through the last 30 years, we've worked very hard to earn the trust of our citizens by using their money wisely. We've done this in many, many different ways. One of the most important things that we've done through the last 20 years has been the combination approach to providing services. That's a combination full-time and part-time personnel on duty. What that allows us to do is make every tax dollar stretch further. Other things that we do to make sure that our tax dollars are spent wisely come in the areas of purchasing or acquisition. When purchasing equipment and supplies, or when hiring vendors to do work on the fire stations or many of the other things that we have to do to maintain what we have, we go to great extent to try and get high quality work done at the lowest price possible. We have a number of people in the organization that have responsibility to purchase items, supplies, equipment, or to arrange for vendors to come in to repair the fire stations and so forth. And they're very experienced in knowing what kind of service we have to get from that vendor and getting a good competitive price from that vendor so that we can assure that those tax dollars are being spent properly. In recent years, we've applied for and been successful in receiving a number of grants from the federal government to purchase equipment or upgrade equipment that we already had. These are purchases that we would have needed to make regardless of the grants, but because we were successful in working for those grants and receiving them, it saved over $500,000 in probably the last 7 or 8 years. So we're proud of that. Those include upgrading or replacing our self-contained breathing apparatus in the early 2000s with a grant that exceeded $200,000. Another grant a few years later that allowed us to install safety exhaust equipment in our apparatus bays to pull out the harmful diesel fumes that accumulate in the garage areas when the trucks start up. That grant exceeded $60,000. And then more recently, we were able to upgrade some of our safety equipment through a grant that we received from the federal government in the amount of $113,000. What these levies have allowed us to do through the years is provide a group of core services that are critical to the safety of our citizens. Those services include firefighting, technical or special rescue services, which can include auto extrication, high angle rescue, ice rescue, fast water rescue, and a number of other specialty type rescue situations that typically fire departments have to deal with. And one of the biggest services that we're obviously able to provide as a result of these levies are our EMS services, which include paramedic services. Delivering emergency services to a community like Colerain requires a great deal of effort, skilled personnel, and equipment to make that happen. It takes the right people with the right training, with the right experience, and the right numbers, in the right amount of time to respond to an emergency, to really be able to deal with that emergency effectively.
Well, it was May 28, 2007, which happened to be Memorial Day. My wife wanted to go to the track to walk, and I said, well, go ahead and drive on up and I'll run up to the track, which was about 2 miles. So I got to the track. I remember getting to the track. They said I collapsed. And I'm not sure what happened, but I know they placed a phone call to a very important response team. The fire department obviously saved my life because I was in cardiac arrest, and without them, I would have been left on that track. So their response was very quick, and it has to be in a situation like that. It doesn't take you too long when you have a problem to realize you need help and where to go for that help. By August 1st, I was running 3 miles. By September, I was running 6. And that was only because of the quick response. When you don't have that quick response, bad things can happen.
Colerain is one of the largest communities in the area, second only to the city of Cincinnati, both in square miles and in population. Colerain, in fact, is one of the largest communities in the state of Ohio. It is the largest township in the state. That's a very difficult equation to deal with when you're trying to figure out the best way to provide emergency services. We make over 9,000 emergency runs a year. We're pushing closer to the 10,000 mark. Every year those numbers go up, usually at least by 4%, and that's the increased demand, of course, for what we do. Because of the support that our citizens have given us through the years with passing levies, we've been able to provide staffing levels sufficient to provide that good level of service no matter where you are in the township. We need to have stations that are staffed adequately with personnel so that we can make those responses in less time than if we had fewer people or longer travel distances from station to the person that's dialing 911. On November 2nd, we're asking for your support on issue 30, our fire EMS levy. This levy is designed to maintain the level of services that we provide, fire EMS, the specialty rescue, those things that are crucial to the safety of our citizens. We've worked very hard through the years to earn your trust. We hope you'll support us on November 2nd with a yes vote for issue 30. Thank you very much.